Welcome back to Hazelnut Latte. Today we're finally opening up to Hazel and Robbie about our relationship with them, while also getting ourselves a job at Cafe Estro after some intense negotiation. Mr. Noto does show up and drop some massive exposition, and all of this started because we woke up with a boy. Anyway, here are your disclaimers, now please enjoy. You opened your eyes a little to find Hazel still sound asleep. You couldn't help but smile. It had been such an incredible ride so far, and things were moving along quite nicely. And now, you two were actually sleeping together. You wanted to enjoy this moment, but it turned out to be a brief one. You noticed something odd happening to you. A warm feeling. You decided to move aside the blankets, and what you saw didn't surprise you. Okay. I didn't expect to open up this episode to immediately sing a Bulge, but here we are. Well, that was an eventful morning. You entered their living room. Wait, yeah, this is a point and click segment. Okay, so going to the right will lead us straight to Hazel. I do want to look at everything else first. We can interact with the PS5. Wait, do they have a PS5? It's gotta be Robbie's. Actually, I don't know if Hazel games at all. Huh. Right, let's go to the left, because this is where we can check out the rooms. You turn down into a hallway. Check out the portrait. A portrait of an ethereal woman and her majestic white horse. You wonder if it was from a movie or simply a cool piece of art picked up at a thrift store. Right, piggy bank? A small piggy bank jar. Giving it a small shake, it sounded half full. What were they saving up for? Door on the right. Oh, you stepped into the room and found yourself in Hazel's room. Right, Godzilla? A God Kingzilla poster? Now that is really interesting. But it makes sense. There is some really gross body horror in that. Especially the ending. Nightmare on Elm Street? Heebie-jeebies? Now that is a more niche one. Even if the director is a scumbag, there are still good horror movies. Okay, what's this? An Evil Death poster. Yeah, of course. I'm pretty sure this is Halloween. A classic horror series, Hallow's Eve. With so many reboots and timeline splits that it makes your head hurt. Yeah, that is true. What's this? What is that? A ball? What about the mountain? A pyramid? Guess it makes sense with Hazel being into history. Right, anything else? I guess there's nothing else. Okay, so we can check out these two rooms. Far left. You just used the bathroom. Robbie's room? Alright, you stepped into Robbie's bedroom. Right, anything to look at here? There is this poster on the left. A cool looking samurai poster. And on the right? Is that a Teal Floyd poster? Interesting. Right, I don't think there's anything else to look at here. Might as well go see Hazel and Robbie, because we're in for something fun today. You turned and entered their kitchen. Right, anything to look at here? No? Okay, let's interact with Robbie. Robbie was already awake and making himself breakfast. He bobbed back and forth, likely listening to music through earbuds. You couldn't help but look at the back of his thighs. He kept hoping for his hoodie to ride up, but to no avail. What was he cooking that smelled so good? It looked to be omelets with cheese and peppers and tomatoes. Sniffing it caused your stomach to growl. Right, time to interact with our favorite boy. Hazel was sitting at a small table in what constituted their dining room, directly next to the kitchen. He was scrolling through his phone as a hot cup of coffee sat in front of him. His face would twist or he would groan as he flicked up and up. You noticed that he was wearing more conservative pajamas today. Maybe he wore those short shorts and athletic top to seduce you last night. Or maybe he was just comfortable. Morning, you called out casually. Hazel peered up at you, and whatever pose had annoyed him in his doom scrolling had been forgotten as he smiled. Handsome? Robbie turned and spotted you. Stood still and blushed. Oh, hey, Lion. Robbie? That smells really good. Oh? Thanks. He blushed and turned back to his task. You sat down from across Hazel, and he grinned wickedly at you. You cocked your head, and he just chuckled. So, what you looking at? Oh, don't get him started. Hazel huffed and turned his focus on you. Just stupid people on the internet pissing me off. Oh, tell me about it. I know I shouldn't let it get to my head, but... God. How are they so freaking dumb? This is why I don't have Twitter, or Threads, or any of that. That surprises me. Being a gamer and all, how do you get your news? I mean, I follow gaming news. Just not on a site like that, and I never touch the comments. I rationally understand that this is bad for me, but that is not gonna stop me. Oh, say! Oh god, that is so good to know. Most people online just say whatever shit pops into their head without second thought. Don't look at me! Okay. Not to mention, all that anonymity shields them from a ton. Yeah, well, they should probably all God damn it, Hazel! We haven't had a good culling in a while. Hazel, what did I say about evil plans at the table? Not where the Alexa can hear them? Exactly. Now, here's breakfast. Robbie serves up breakfast, and the three of you ate his really good omelets. Eventually, you broke the silence. So, I feel like we all need to figure out exactly what this is. The other two looked at you, almost embarrassed. Hazel, knowing what I know, I understand why you were asking me about polyamory. I know you have feelings for Robbie still. But you're both smart enough to know that you aren't exactly what you want from each other. But you two still obviously love each other. Hazel sipped his coffee, glaring at you. Very astute. You really are an evil businessman. Hazel set his coffee down. I propose an open relationship. Are you sure? Sure. I mean, I feel like this whole thing is sort of my fault. Jumping you like I did way back at the cafe. Letting you take me out on dates and not really telling you about Robbie. I think we should be open. I don't want to tie you two down to me just because I can be a bit of a horn dog sometimes. Nah, I'm not sure if I want to be with anyone else. Hazel, I've been with you for so long that I don't think I can imagine life without you. And Lion, well, I honestly never expected you. But I'd like to get to know you. And I'm honestly okay with an open relationship too. You are? Yeah, what if I have a guild raid and one of you wants to screw or something? I'm not turning my games off for that. You and Hazel can't help but laugh at that. Well, what do you think, Lion? Open relationship. You wondered for a while now how it would all work. So, let me get this straight. This is pretty crooked, but go ahead. God damn it, Hazel! You feigned a smile. We would be dating each other. We could pursue others? I think that could work. I have a lot going on in my life. School, work, and I see the way people look at you and how you look at them. Hazel grinned. Robbie glanced up at you, blushed, and returned to fiddling with his phone. You noticed that he wasn't doing anything particular either. Just nervously scrolling up and down. So you think that because my eyes linger a bit, I need to screw everyone? All I'm saying is that you can. If we're all going to date, why not branch out if it's right? Like that waiter at Noto's. Okay, I get it. You think Jessie is cute too. I get it. Good. Hell, even Ice Queen Vera was giving you looks. You sighed, think it over. Okay, I'll screw our boss too. It wouldn't be so bad. Hazel was basically giving you permission to screw him, Robbie, and anyone else you fancied. And there were a lot of interesting parties. Vera, for starters, was quite attractive. She had an icy stare, but those yonkers looked like pillows you could really sink into. Then there was Jesse from Notos. You had agreed to help him without doing anything physical. It didn't seem right to try to sexually pursue someone who was going through what he was. But you definitely wanted to get close to him. This seemed like it could be a good idea. Since you've been in Jade City making connections, life has gotten better. Getting to know Hazel with his love of horror movies, history, and running. Robbie with his own special gender quirks and shy gamer mindset. You had definitely fantasized about something like this before. But now Hazel was actually offering it up to you. You're cool with this? Hazel smiled. I don't mind sharing. Just know that I'm a bit competitive. Robbie finally spoke up and Hazel gasped. What? Is it not true? I am not. Lion can spend his time with, well, any way he wishes. I'm just saying this because I'm busy. No, you're not. Huh? You find it hot. Well, I mean... Hazel got quiet and blushed. You looked over at Robbie and tried to figure out how you felt about him. Of course I'm gonna include Robbie. And you screwed his thighs. Did we have to mention that? He was very attractive and interesting. You felt yourself not only drawn to him, but wanting to get to know him better. How do you feel about all of this, Robbie? Robbie set his phone down and sighed. You're a nice guy. I'm willing to get to know you and see how things go. I'll say, I'm in. And the whole dating other people thing? It's not so weird to me. Really? Robbie spent some spare time playing those dating sims where you build a harem. God, same! Oh god, Robbie is me for real! It was Robbie's turn to glare at Hazel. Hazel simply giggled into his coffee. Would you two be dating other people? Robbie shook his head. Doubt it. I mean, probably not. Unless you find someone cool and hot. Then, maybe we could share? Hazel winked at you, and the idea of sharing someone with Hazel caused an immediate reaction in your nether regions. You realize now that there wasn't a hint of question in his voice. He wanted to share someone with you. Robbie's passive shyness, Hazel's seductive submissiveness. Very quickly you began to understand that Hazel wanted to be used and part of some sort of harem. One of many, but also free to live his own life. You nodded. Alright. Robbie's eyes narrowed. Hazel's eyebrows raised. I'll give it a go. This is all under the assumption I find anyone else. Yeah, you never know what could happen. Maybe you're stuck with us forever. We'll see what the future holds, huh? Sounds like a good plan to me. So, should we head out, Lion? You sighed. Yeah, to the cafe, right? Yeah, let me get dressed. Hazel hops up and runs to his room. You and Robbie sit there for a moment, exchanging glances. Robbie eventually clears his throat. Oh, Lion. Here's my number. Oh, got his number. Sweet. Ah, now I get to send you shitty memes. Robbie's eyes widens. Actually, that was the wrong Nope, already saved in my phone. Shit. I promise I won't be too bad. I'm already regretting this. Well, I'm going to go chill before work. Good luck to you two. Hazel came back into the room, dressed up as a barista. Alright, let's do this. Right, off to Cafe Astro. You arrived with Hazel at Cafe Astro. It was early morning and the shop hadn't opened just yet. Doesn't open very early, huh? Hazel shook his head as he unlocked the entrance door. Nah, we open at 9. Is that because of staffing? Pretty much. Hazel led you inside. If you want to chill out here, I'll start setting up and clock in. Vera should be here soon. Sounds good. You made your way to an empty chair and waited patiently for Vera to arrive. Off behind the counter, Hazel got to work. It was interesting seeing him so focused on a task. Admittedly, since the two had been together, it had been a lot of fun. There really hasn't been a chance to slow down and be remotely serious. Well, except for some conversations. But to see Hazel outside of that lens. He checked the temperatures in the cooler. Groaned when he saw that one of the barely used jugs of milk were out of date. Can't believe this was pushed to the back. Hazel tested shots of espresso and even brought you over a small coffee. Care to quality check? Do you quality check every morning? Hazel smirked. What do you think? You sipped the coffee and smiled. It warmed your throat and settled in your stomach. That's really good, Hazel. Thank you. But I didn't, add anything to it this time. Not with the boss almost here. There's always next time. Hazel blushed and went back to the counter. While waiting for Vera, you took out your phone to see if there was anyone you could talk to. Ooh, Jesse. You decide to text Jesse since you two hadn't spoken since you arrived. Hey, you. Well, if it isn't Lion. Long time no talk. How was the move? Yeah, it went pretty well. Is that Shaggy? Still have a few things to unpack, but I'm settling in. That's good. It's just you, right? Just me. Cool. Are you working today? Unfortunately. We've got these two new girls who started recently that I've had to show around. Girls? I thought it was all guys. Well, trans girls. Still with dicks. But they take estrogen and, well, have bobas. So, Noto's also has trans girls who perform services? Yes, sweetie, they perform services. For an evil landlord, Mr. Noto is surprisingly progressive with his enterprise. It's also for his pleasure. Just because you understand that gender and sexuality are a spectrum doesn't mean you are a good person. Mr. Noto is very respectful of our bodily autonomy and understands who we are. But he still uses you all to make a profit with your bodies. It makes some people happy. I'm going to help you get out from under his thumb, Jesse. I know. I'm happy you're serious with this. I am. Do you want to maybe go out one of these days? If you have the time. I'd love to. What do you want to do? How about a walk in the park? Aw. That sounds really cute. I don't remember the last time I went and did a cute thing like that. Yeah, I'm down. Sounds like a date then. Yeah, it does. Well, it was good talking to you, Lion. But I need to run some errands before work. Thank you for the chat. Anytime, Jesse. Alright. Looks like you had a date with Jesse at some point in the future. You wonder if you should go visit him at some point too. Robbie. You decide to see what Robbie is up to. Hey, what's up? Just chillin', waiting for Hazel's boss. Busy. Robbie never responded after that. Guess he must have been doing something very involved. Or just playing an online game. Right, Dave. You decide to see how Dave is doing. Hey, Dave. Oh, Lion. How have you been? How was the move? Yeah, it was good. I've been good. Settling into the new place, new city. I can imagine it's a lot. But I'm happy you're well. Very. And how about you? Oh, fantastic. We've really missed you here. Especially the boss. Of course he would. I did so much of the work. Not like I'm going to. True. The boss was pretty stressed after you left, but I've chilled him out. Damn, that's impressive. What do you mean by you chilled him out? I have my ways. I knew it! I freaking knew it! But how are things with the boy? It's actually 2 now. 2? Man, do I need to move to Jade City? It's a bit complicated, but it's awesome. Well, I'd love to hear more about it sometime. But I got a jet. It was good to hear from you, Lion. Likewise. Dave seemed to be doing alright. Let's leave. You put your phone down as you heard the front door open. Hello? Standing up in your seat, you turned to face who walked inside. Vera stood there, staring back at you, a small smile on her otherwise impassive glare. Well, well, well. Lion. What a pleasant surprise. Vera? Yeah, just the person I wanted to see. She blinked, smiling incredulously at you. Really now? Well, whatever for. Hazel stepped up next to Vera. Hi, Vera. Hazel? So that's why I guessed this in our building before business hours. Hazel gasped. Well, yeah, but... You see, I just moved to Jade City and was looking for a part-time job. I was hoping to speak to you, see if you had anything available. Vera studied you, eyes trailing up and down your body. Suddenly she giggled and shook her head. Right, well, I think we can figure something out. Lion, would you like to follow me to my office? Sounds good. Hazel gave you 2 thumbs up and went back to work. Following Vera through the kitchen of Cafe Astros, you came upon a moderate-sized office. It had a fridge and sink behind the desk. Probably a reworked break room. Vera motioned for you to sit down as she took her seat behind the desk. So, Lion, why do you want a job here? Other than money, of course, she said with the barest hint of a smirk. Well, I do love coffee. Have you experience as a barista, latte artist? You let out a soft chuckle. No, I have not. But I believe myself to be a quick learner. Vera sucked her teeth. Right. A quick learner you shall have to be. I have been dropping employees like flies. Why is that? If I may ask. Why the curiosity? Are you worried we're an awful place to work? Well, Vera, my job is actually in consulting for businesses. But I'm trying to move away and live a bit differently, so I'm here. Not just in Jade City, but looking for a job. Something to fill the time, I suppose. Business consulting. Well, then I can be a bit more frank with you. She sighed and squeezed the bridge of her nose. It's the exodus. Excuse me? If enough people leave, everyone leaves. I once ran such a beautiful establishment. Open early, close late. Multiple baristas on the bar. Bakers and cooks in the kitchen. What happened? Well, my assistant manager left us. Not for anything bad, mind, or any unsavory reasons. He got his dream job, so he left. I always knew he would, but I hoped it would be later, not sooner. After he left, my buyer left. She kept things in stock and had relationships with all the suppliers. What happened to her? Frappy Star opened up, swooped her up, and is paying her through school. Vultures. After that is when the exodus began. People don't just work at a job for the money. They work for the people, for the familiarity, for the pattern. You ever ask someone working at a grocery store how they're doing? And they say, "Another day in paradise," as all their coworkers laugh. They're all there together, and that camaraderie is a powerful bond. How many employees have you spoken with in your business that say that their fellow employees are why they stay? A fair amount. But it's not just that. Finding another job is hard. Breaking the habit is difficult. Why do all the job hunting to find a job that doesn't pay much different to have to learn a whole new set of skills? Easier to stay where you're at, where you know how to do everything. And how does this exodus play into it? They fear change. I lost my 2 leaders. Everyone fears what further changes will come with new leadership. So off they went. Some to other industries, some focused on school, some are now working at Frappy Star or Boba Palace. Or God forbid, that stupid cafe house. He perked up. Cafe house? Wait, the hell is that? Another coffee shop? Farah giggled. Oh, don't let them hear you calling it a coffee shop. They hate that term, even though that is what they are. I wouldn't be surprised if they sent in a request to Bulges to not have them classified as such. But if you are ever curious, the place is called Café House de Banu. It's in the capital district to the south. Huh. I think I've been there before. I went there when I first visited Jade City for my presentation. Never heard of Café House, but I'll be sure to look it up next time I'm down that way. Farah couldn't contain her laughter. When you do, I'd love to hear every detail. So, this exodus. Sort of like a house of cards falling down. Everyone is really comfortable and happy. Suddenly leadership leaves and everyone is picking up other work. But that can't be the only reason. Well, as you know, people power everything. Yeah, but so does good planning and management. Vera pursed her lips and eyed you. Well, I apologize. That was... Out of line? Yeah. But not inaccurate. Look, Lion. I am in desperate need for help. The business is failing. I barely have any employees, and... Look, I know who you are. You do? I thought the name was familiar. Don't think I've looked up professional help enough times with a glass of wine to not know who you are. Vera, I don't know. I'm trying to leave all that behind me. I can respect that. But are you sure there's nothing I can do to change your mind? Nothing really comes to mind. Well, you seemed mighty interested yesterday. Yesterday? What do you... You stared at Vera very intently. Her voice, her yonkers, her hips. Your eyes widened enough for Vera to notice. Ah, there he is. I was rather disappointed when our call was cut short. I think we were both getting really into it, don't you? You're Mrs. Jones? Vera laughed. Naturally, my dear. And I am very intent of having your help. So, if there's anything I can do for you to interest you. Vera got up and moved around her desk. Suddenly, she lifts her skirt and unbuttoned her top to reveal... No! God, I thought we were talking business here! Hello? Walking back into the cafe proper, you spied Hazel looking over at you, full of hope. Also, let's just say that Vera was being very convincing. Very, very convincing. Link to the scene is, in the comments. But anyway... He ran over to you two. Hey, Lion. How'd it go? Well, I'll let you two talk. Vera smiled and walked back over to the counter. He motioned Hazel over to one of the chairs in the cafe. He sat down, worry infecting his cute face. Lion, what is it? Did you not get the job? You chuckled. Yeah, not quite. What? Vera doesn't want me as a part-timer. She knows who I am, Hazel. What? That you're a business guru or whatever? Yeah, something like that, yeah. She wants me to be co-owner of Cafe Astros. Wait, well, that's a thing? Hazel's eyes went wide at that. Co-owner? What, like my boss? That's probably the idea. Well, Hazel sighed. This is both very cool and very weird. Sorry to be sort of selfish, Lion, but what would that mean for us? I mean, we started dating before Well, I haven't even decided. But let's say you did. Say yes, I mean. What would happen? Well, again, we started dating technically this morning. As long as our relationship doesn't affect how I treat you as a boss, it should be okay. How do you mean? Well, if I was your boss and you, oh god, I don't know, made someone's drink wrong, I would have to talk to you about it. And in that conversation, the fact that we are dating can't factor into any disciplinary actions I need to take. Unless, of course, you ask for an additional spanking later at night, to which I will happily oblige.
So, I can't suck you off to get out of it?
Unfortunately, no.
He smiled, as did Hazel. Well, I could be professional. Besides, it's not like we have an HR department. That... Hazel glared at you. I was joking. Please don't fire me, boss. You scoffed, and Hazel giggled. Well, okay, so if I'm in trouble, you're not my boyfriend, you're my boss. I'll just picture that creepy manager from that Italian place.
Oh, that'll probably work.
You sighed, your fingers anxiously tattooing the table.
Your mind couldn't help recollect your encounter with Mr. Noto outside the restaurant.
Who is he?
Why did he JoJo me? I mean, why the JoJo reference?
So, do you want it?
Huh?
The job, handsome.
Well, it is tempting. Can't say I haven't dreamed about running a business. A cute little hole in the wall like this.
But it's one thing to dream and another thing to do. You've had plenty of practice though, right?
Yeah, I have, but I never actually practically stayed somewhere and done anything.
But you could try. This place is probably going under anyway. If you fail, then, well, it was always going to fail. But if you succeed,
I've saved a business and proven myself.
Exactly. And look, Vera may be cold, but she's really sweet. And she's been through a lot. I don't know if she has the killer instinct to raise this place back to what it used to be. Not with all of this competition.
That is a conundrum. But I also came here for a low-maintenance life. Not to join a dying business and help raise it from the ashes.
I wanted to
build a sex dungeon and have crazy, deeply intimate fun times. Restart and make my life better.
Get closer to you, Hazel. And you can still have those things. But this is an incredible opportunity, Lion. If this works, think of what the future could hold. Not just for you, but, for us.
Hazel blushed and smiled at you.
Looking into his eyes, you saw that he wanted so much more with you. Your stomach turned.
Not in disgust, but
in shock. It had been so long since you had this deep of a connection with someone else. It was so strange. You cleared your throat.
I think I've made up my mind.
Hazel smiled. Well, don't keep Vera waiting, slugger. You gave him a reassuring smirk and stood up.
Vera walked over to you, clearly anxious, but trying her best to mask it.
So, how do you want to proceed?
You opened your mouth to answer when suddenly the familiar ringing of the door's bell stopped you. Turning, you saw a sight you did not expect. Mr. Noto! Well, I knew this was coming, but still. Hi! Why do you look even more ominous than usual?
Standing in the doorway of Cafe Estros was Mr. Noto, flanked by two men.
One of them looked tired and stared at everything with a knowing look. The other was a bit nervous and seemed vaguely related to Noto. Mr. Noto stood in the doorway like a kid on Christmas. He smirked and sneered his way over to you. Hazel hurried to your side, nervous, confused to be seeing him here. You were confused for a moment as well, but you had a sneaking suspicion. After what Jessie had told you, it was clear why Mr. Noto was here. Okay. Well, good morning, Mrs. Jones. And if it isn't Mr. Lion and his lovely date. I thought this one looked familiar. Mr. Noto motioned at Hazel, who cringed backward. What are you doing here? Ah, he doesn't know, Vera. Vera sighed and shook her head. Well, he probably should. I hear he is your last employee. I should know what? You sighed, a memory fluttering back at you. It was Mr. Noto's face at the back of the room where you gave your presentation the first time you came to Jade City.
Who was he talking to?
The mayor. Mr. Noto. He is a very successful property owner, aren't you? Mr. Noto grinned. Guilty as charged, Senor Lion. Guilty as charged.
Oh, don't tell me.
Oh, I'll tell you. Your boyfriend catches on quick. I own this here property. The very one that the ever so beautiful Mrs. Jones runs her cafe in. And for a long while, this place turned a fantastic profit. Every hipster, writer, and college student flocked to this cafe to eat her food and drink her coffee. The apartments up above would come down in droves. I would see lines. He chuckled uproariously, slapping the chest of one of his men. Can you believe that, boy? This dump?
Tommaso, why prolong this?
Mr. Noto suddenly stopped laughing, as if he hadn't been keeling over with glee seconds earlier. He stared deadly serious at Vera. Well, because I am having fun, Vera. He broke his serious veneer to grin devilishly. But those days are long gone. The kids now shack up at that gaudy Frappista. They cultivate at the Boba Palace. Hell, even the freaking hipsters make the bus ride to that French coffee shop. The people who live upstairs would rather drive down to the Frappista than get a coffee here. So what to do with this place? A smoke shop? Kids love to get high. A restaurant? Maybe one of those BOGO whatevers can go here. You know the one, the expensive bastards. One of the goons spoke up. Cheesecake Factory? Mr. Noto clapped and laughed. A cheesecake factory! Brilliant idea.
Are we enjoying the song and dance?
Mr. Noto stopped smiling. I want you out, Mrs. Jones. This business venture of yours was exciting, interesting even, but ultimately a failure. You failed to adapt, and thus you are being crushed. Now, you have a few options because I am a kind man. Just ask my late wife. He cackled, as did the goon with tired eyes, but the other looked embarrassed. Now, you can start turning a profit and pay me what you owe me. Or be sensible and leave. Forfeit the property back to me so I can start making money again. Better yet, perhaps you could. Well, Mr. Noto grinned. Ew, no! You are quite gorgeous, Vera. Every part of you. I should know. He winked, which you could feel Vera cringing. Glancing at her arms, you saw the goose prickle start to form. Well, thank you, Mr. Noto. But I was actually waiting to hear back from a potential candidate. Someone with a lot of experience who can really help turn this place around. Really now? And who is this mysterious candidate? Me! That will be me, Mr. Noto! Mr. Noto chuckled. I was waiting for you to chime in. So, this is your plan, Vera? The kid who only has a theoretical understanding of business? How bad is this place in debt? Quite a bit, lad. I let her off because I was hoping to... Well, doesn't matter. But I know when to call it off. So I will give you until, well, let's say the new year. It's the fall now, so what is that? September? I think I'm being quite fair here. How much? Oh, apologies. 300,000. Silence filled the cafe as Mr. Noto slowly began to chuckle. He held his hands out, palms up, and shrugged. I have been quite amicable, haven't I? So, it's simple, actually. Mr. Noto took a step closer to you. Hello. Get me my money, kid. Don't forget the money I am owed each month as well. Do all that, and everything will be peaches, yeah? But just know that if you stay, life will not be easy. He leaned in close by her ear, so only you could hear him.
especially if you intend to take sweet little Jezebel from me. He chuckled, and his hot, smoky breath tickled your ear. Stepping back, he smiled at all of you, adjusting his suit. Well, honestly, good luck. I win either way, thankfully, so have fun. Don't forget, New Year's. Mr. Noto laughed and left with his two goons. Honestly, it's hard to hate Mr. Noto. He is like so slimy, and yeah, I get icks from him, but that was oddly fairly reasonable. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to actually put it all together, but reasonable. The door to Estro's jingled like a plague doctor collecting its victims. Vera turned and faced you. Well, that was a bit unexpected. The balls to show up here like that. I had no idea that guy owned this place. Technically, I own it, but yes, it goes back to him if I can't keep up with the payments, which admittedly, I have not been able to. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. It's not your burden to bear. But I do want to thank you, Lion. I assume this means you're going to help? You sighed. I was pretty certain before, but after hearing that a-hole? Yeah, man, but we need a plan. Agreed. It's going to take a lot of work to not only get that money, but get it in time. We have a bit of wiggle room. New Year's is 4 months. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, now thinking about it, no longer reasonable. No longer reasonable. Is it doable? Potentially. We are going to lose money before we can start gaining any. I think I'm going to open the shop and make you two some coffees. Thank you, Hazel. And you are okay with this? I know you and Lion are, well, something. Hazel smiled and nodded. We agreed that I have Lion the boyfriend and Lion the boss. Vera chuckled wryly. Quite sensible. Well, do you want to head back to the office with me? Make a plan? Sounds good. You entered Vera's office once more. You sat down as Vera booted up her computer and pulled up something. Vera, if you don't mind me asking, why get into business with someone like that? Vera sighed and turned to you. I used to be one of his girls when he was coming up. Your eyes widened and you tried to cover your mouth for popping open. He liked me a lot and let me start up this business. At first, as he said, it worked, but times have changed. I wanted less and less to do with his other activities. He said he missed the old me. I think the reason he let me go this long was out of, oddly enough, some twisted form of love. And he hates losing. If I lose, he loses. That's why we have until the new year. I'm sure if I lost this place, I'd still have it for a while. Until he found some way to save face. Jesus, Vera, I had no idea. It was hard back in the day. Being who I am, finding any acceptance. Tommaso. Vera sighed, wiping a tear. He was so good to me. Back when I wasn't called Vera. It was crazy as to. The son of a mob boss and his trans girlfriend. Vera laughed, but you could tell it was forced. He would protect me from anyone who tried anything. He was sweet, but I knew even then that he had a dark side. I helped hide him from that. But when his father died, he inherited everything. His empire, his money, his cruelty. It's hard to believe a guy like that was once caring? Sweet? Vera sniffled. Well, most people start good-natured with kind intentions. The world beats it out of them, or power changes them. I'm afraid Tommaso had both happen to him. It's easier for me to try to not think of him that way anymore. I'm sorry, Vera. I won't. It's okay, Lion. You had to know. So is he like mafia? Vera nodded.
Well, I'm screwed.
There was a knock at the door and Hazel came in with 2 hot lattes. Hey, sorry, there were customers, so I didn't want to abandon the fort. Very wise. Thank you, dear. Is this quad Americano with some almond milk? Duh. What did I get? Well, you got a quad shot oat milk hot latte. Is that right? You remembered, huh? I'm studying to be a professor, handsome. You two smiled like newlyweds. Hazel coughed and turned. Anyway, good luck with the planning. Thank you, dear. Oh, and Lion? Don't get excited. I didn't have time to sprinkle nutmeg. Hazel left and Vera sighed after sipping her coffee. Okay, so how do we want to do this? Ask about the competition. What about the competition in the area? Well, there are a few businesses taking away our business. The main one being Frappy Star. As you know, they are the biggest coffee company in the country. Not to mention, they've taken some of my employees and clientele. We are also losing people to Boba Palace, a bubble tea shop not far from here. Not necessarily offering coffee, but still competition. What about the cafe house? Oh, they're a bit more out of the way, but still. Right. I think I'll focus on the other two for now, since they're more directly competing. I'll head over and scope these places out. See what they're doing that we aren't. Sounds like a good plan, Lion. About the kitchen. Tell me about the kitchen we walked through. I don't see it in use. And you only serve grocery store frozen breakfast sandwiches. Vera groaned. Yeah, shame about that. Previously, we had a fully operating kitchen. Bakers would make fresh pastries and bread. We also had cooks who made breakfast and lunch sandwiches. Looks like we'll need to get the kitchen back to working order. People love the fresh food here. I think getting the kitchen staffed will really help us out. About staffing. What do we need in terms of staffing? Well, at the moment, it's just Hazel and myself. We are going to have to reduce hours if we hope to keep the place semi-functioning. How many people will we need? Well, a few. Including Hazel? 6 or 7? We need 2 baristas in the morning and really only 1 later in the day, but I like to keep it a minimum of 2 all day. As for kitchen, we can play by ear depending on how many people we can find. If it's just 1 person, we can have the fresh pastries out 5 days a week. Another person could help overlap. Even help set up for busier times. Vera smiled. Exactly. I'd like a head baker who could oversee everything and keep it moving back there. So 3 people for the back? That'd be nice. Well, I don't know how much I can help. I don't know how much help I could be baking. But I can always learn lattes and help there. I'll figure out these staffing problems though, Farah. Thank you. Online orders. Have you ever considered doing online orders like Ride Eats? Well, that is interesting. We'd have to figure out how all that works. We need a system of accepting orders, letting it know if we're out of something. Then a place to house everything. Which would bring us extra income. But I'm afraid we need more staff before we can consider that. Right. Ordering is a problem for another day. I must say, good thinking, Lion. Alright, I think that's all I can ask. That's all I need to know. Right. Oh, got her bio. Vera sighed, rubbing her temples. I really hope we are able to pull this off. We will, Vera. It's just going to take some time. She smiled wistfully. I know. Honestly, Lion, thank you so much. I've been so lost and scared. I'll comfort her. He reached across the table and grabbed her hands. You don't have to be anymore, okay? I'm here now. Vera suddenly blushed, a deep crimson. Thank you, Lion. It honestly means so much to me that you're helping. Well, I'm hopeful this will be a fruitful relationship. I certainly hope so. But Vera, how much do I need to worry about Mr. Noto? Vera licked her lips nervously. Not too much. I mean, you are helping him get money. And you're helping me. Right. If you're not comfortable...
Nope, I'm good. It's not like we're in a mob movie or anything. It's just a job.
Vera laughed. Keep holding on to that optimism.
You nodded. Ah, well.
You left Vera's office with a newfound sense of purpose. What had started as a simple job interview for a part-time job landed you a co-ownership over Cafe Estro. Mr. Noto worried you a bit, but you knew that either way, he'd be happy, so it was safer not to stress. However, you would still try to get Jesse out from under his grasp, which may prove to be difficult. Your first priority was to get Cafe Estros back to its feet. How were you going to do that? Thank you so much for playing the public demo for Hazelnut Latte. Sweet! We're very excited for the future of the game, so here's a sneak peek at what awaits players in the upcoming episodes. Vera has asked you for help in saving the cafe, but with only 16 weeks left to do it, the task will not be easy. Explore Jade City as the game fully opens up to allow you to go anywhere. Meet new characters and progress your relationships. Earn money, go on dates, and enjoy your time in Jade City. Or visit Noto's restaurant and spend some of that cash on the servers. Every episode will be a week in the game, so you don't need to stress about time. Just explore the whole episode. Your choices will matter and affect those around you. Not everything can be done in a single playthrough, so experiment and enjoy a varied experience every time. Make sure to support the game on Patreon or Subscribe Store. Only there you will find the latest version of our game. This public demo will be updated for bug fixes, typos, and changes to episodes 1 through 5. If you like the game, please rate it on itch.io and waitlist the game on Steam. You can also follow me on Twitter for updates and other nonsense, or join our amazing community on Discord. Again, thank you so much for playing and for watching. I hope you had fun and stay rad out there. And I guess that's the end of episode 5. Okay. Anyway, that's all the time I have for today's episode of Hazelnut Latte. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys do want to play this for yourselves, link to the game will be in the description below. It will be a while before I come out with another part of this because, like, the rest of episode 6 is still in development, but I will be covering episode 6 over the course of several parts, so we do not overwhelm ourselves with what's going on. But I am so excited. I'm hella excited for, like, the rest of this game. Like, it is genuinely one of my favorite visual novels, and I hope you guys enjoyed the series too. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a lovely rest of the day, and as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.